Good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation. As I'm coming from an area where wooden buildings are traditional, I'm from the west of Austria, from the Alpine area near Switzerland, and till the mid of the last century, it was normal to build houses completely in wood and log constructions. And after the mid-century, this ended, but in the 80s, there was a renaissance of timber construction, and I'm happy to be part of this development. And I want to show you some projects which are from our practice, but with a clear focus on massive timber constructions. The first is a school in Vorarlberg, which is a one-story building, a flat building. As you can see on the right side, no, there is no photo on the right side. Here is the next. It's in a housing area with rather small houses, so we decided to have this building very flat, not disturbing the measures of the surrounding. The school is partly, or the most important thing about the school is the educational effort we made. It's a cluster school with 4 clusters. Every cluster has 2 classrooms, and is there no possibility to... Okay, I can see it. You have this. This is one cluster, and in the cluster you have 2 classrooms. In the middle there is a learning center and a smaller room for groups and for teachers. Though these units have also outside open area, open classroom, which is part of these clusters. The gymnasium is part of the school. It's down in the basement. It's the only part which has 2 stories. The cut between through the gymnasium and the cluster, and you can see the learning area is the only part which has a roof and which has also daylight from the roof. The area was quite big. There was an existing school which has to be demolished because it was not possible to transfer it in a modern educational system. This is the part where the gymnasium is. The main entrance with the area for the children, outside area, and gymnasium and sport facilities outside. This is a view to this external part of the classroom, which is situated between 2 clusters. Only the foundations are in concrete. The whole building is built in CLT. The walls are in CLT. The roofs are in framework. And these areas outside, which are very important, not only for outdoor classes, but also for experience of planting, of seeing how nature works. And you can also see the surrounding is, there is a lot of green, and the direct neighbor is a garden center. The outdoor area, the facade is covered with white spruce, which is very familiar in our area. And the inside construction is also with white spruce. We use the CLT, which was finished with a layer of white spruce, so we didn't have to cover the constructive elements with another layer of wood. So that made the whole construction not so expensive. The clients were a bit worried about the costs of the project because it's a one-story building. They wanted us to show that it's that we are able to build it at the same price like a multi-story building. And so we had to think about the construction, which we choose to keep it as simple as possible. That's the learning center with the horizontal light. And the classrooms, which have a very simple beam construction, and the acoustic elements is a acoustic layer which is directly on the beams, so we couldn't we didn't have to bring another layer of wood on the beams. That is the long corridor, which is over 100 meters long, which is connecting the different parts of the school. The view to the gymnasium, which has the same simplicity of construction than the classrooms. Of course, the beams are higher because of the longer span, but they have the same acoustic construction. The main entrance, which is obviously marked to the higher roof, and some pictures from the construction. What was very important during construction was to protect the CLT elements because they came from the industry and were completely finished. The surface was not cladded anymore. Finally, a view to the learning center and to the classrooms. These are the two classrooms which are very open to the learning center, so teacher has also the possibility to have a view to the students inside and outside. A small project, a single family house in a small village near Bregenz. As you can see, it's a very steep hill where this building is located, and it's partly a concrete construction and partly a wooden construction. The concrete part is on the hillside, and the wooden construction has this large span, this cantilever, which makes this place able to build a house. View to the small village. The shape of the building is very much focused on the site, on the geometric situation of this site, and here you can see the right part is a massive part, is the concrete. The garage is on the rooftop of the building because the street is on the hillside, which makes it a bit more complicated. Here you can see the street and the garage, and so you walk down the hill and enter the house on the lower floor. The facade is a wooden facade, but it's painted with Falunfärb. That's the Swedish type of color which is used in Sweden, normally in red or sometimes white, but the black color, which comes also from the mining industry, is the same product. That's the cantilever of the building, which is I think about 8 meters. And the building is also bending toward the beautiful view to the mountains. Inside you have both. You have the concrete construction, which is visible, but also the wooden elements, the CLT. That's the kitchen part, where the garage is located over the kitchen and is shown as a concrete element. The open space to the valley from the living area, and the way down to the sleeping areas, which are in the lower part. That was the massive construction before we started with the timber construction. And here you can see the elements which have the span of the whole width of the building. Especially the roof, which has a span from I think it was about 6 meters to 9 meters. The CLT layers of the walls and the ceilings, and the living room area before it was completed. Another building, another single family building, which is just partly a wooden construction because it's of the topography. The lower 2 levels are in concrete, but the top level is a wooden construction. And here it's my own house, and so I'm proud I could use the wood from my own forest, which I got from my father, and I could cut, I think, about 20 trees, and these 20 trees were enough to do the whole construction of the top roof. It's close to Lake Constance, with between the lake and the mountain, and you can see the city of Bregenz with the famous Kunsthaus. The two ground floors, on the left side, the ground floor of the sleeping and office area. On the upper floor, the living room with the terraces around the whole building, and the small sleeping area, bedrooms for the parents. And the cut through the building shows the cascade staircase and the upper floor with the wooden construction. Because I wanted to use my own wood, I had to find a solution how to create elements to build the walls and the roof. And the solution was massive elements. I think it's 5 by 12 centimeter elements, which are connected not by nails or screws or glue, but by dowels, massive dowels of hardwood, which are drilled in a diagonal way. So it's a very simple but very effective and very ecological way to use massive wood from own forest. That's the final situation. A very difficult thing was the cantilever of the roof and the terrace in this part. It's over 4 meters, and it was quite for the engineer, it was not an easy thing to solve this 4 meters inclination with a minimum of thickness of roof and constructive elements. The entrance is from the north side. We are entering in the lower floor, and we have to walk up to the, the exterior, and although the interior wood is oak, it's the constructive wood is not visible, but the whole facade and the interior design is all done by oak. Although the ceiling, which is has an acoustic use, the floor, the furniture, and here you can also see this big external, or this large external part of the house, which is covered terrace. The entrance area and the cantilever to the north. The combination between the oak and the concrete was a very important decision of creating a space. Another project which is much bigger and more focused is the sports center of the Technical University of Munich in Olympia Park, which is still under construction but will be finished soon. And you can see on the picture the famous roof of the Olympic Stadium of Freie Otto and Benisch from the 1972. And the center is located in the Olympia Park, which is a huge area with the Olympic Village on the right side and the sport facilities and all the soccer fields and golf courts and tennis in this, I think, 20-hectare area. The project is quite simple. It has a dimension of 150 to 100 meters, and it's hosting not only 14 sport halls, gymnasiums. It also has a library, it has a restaurant, and it has about 300 offices. The main road in the middle is connecting the entrance with the outside sport fields. In the top of the right and lower part of the left, you can see these office buildings with the small office rooms, and on the right, on the lower part, and left on the upper part, there are the 6 of these sport halls of the gymnasiums. That was the competition drawing, the rendering we did for the competition, and this is the final situation as it is today. The cantilever of the roof is 18 meters, and it's covering all the sport area, the outside sport areas. This building is also used by the research and by the sport medical center, and they need this covering of the sport facilities. The cantilever of 18 meters is also impressive because it's not just a roof, but it's you can see also the light from the roof. So it's cut every 3 meters. That's the construction of the gymnasium, of the sport halls, and this is a picture how these elements were brought, and with the crew brought to their place where, and you can see the dimension of these elements with 30 meters. The height is about 1.40 meters to 1.80 meters, and each element is mounted on 4 steel columns. Yes, and that's the situation in the moment. In 2 months, there will be the inauguration. This is also the connection from the library and students' rooms to the outdoor spaces. That was a picture of some weeks ago. That's the main road which is connecting the entrance to the sport facilities, from which part you also have the view to the indoor gymnasium. And almost every part of the building is covered with wood, so this wooden construction is not just a constructive element, but it's also a part of the living space in this building. The construction of the roof is quite simple, again, like I showed in the school. It's glulam beams and acoustic elements as a second layer. And finally, I want to show you a construction which is not really a building, but it's part of an office building we did for a very successful company in Vorarlberg. This company has also a very strong view to how the people which are living and working there are sharing their time together and have a possibility to relax. And so we created some spaces in this building, that's the building, and in the middle X there are 3 points of different spaces. One is this wooden space, another is made of clay, which creates a recreational part for the people. This element is not just a single story element, but it goes all up the dimension of the building from the lower floor up to the roof. It's a 3-story element, and it was also produced of CLT. That's the second floor. And it was built by elements and brought in layers and fixed together, and then it was finally finished in the site. Although the roof of the building is in timber construction. Thank you for your attention.